Here we see the men of the church discussing the theory and what they believe is the truth, that the earth is the center of the universe. At this point, no one has ever questioned what they teach, but that is about to change. Right now it is February 19th in the year 1473, and a baby named Nicholas Copernicus has just been born. He seems like a normal baby, but this baby will affect the church and the world when he grows up.
Copernicus lost his mother when he was around 3, and he lost his father when he was around 11. After they died, his uncle, who was also the priest of a Roman Catholic church, became his guardian.
Copernicus worked with his uncle in the church until much later in his life. After his uncle died, he was made the canon of the church.
Later, Copernicus moved to Frombork, Poland, where he started writing books about his theories on the universe. After Copernicus published his first book, he set up a Polish defense system against the Teutonic Knights.
Some years later, in 1526, Copernicus came up with the principle, later called Gresham's law, that bad money drives out good, and the quantitative theory of money, which states that there is a direct relationship between money, prices, and supply.
Copernicus received a letter from the Pope and Cardinal of Capua to publish his theories.
Copernicus published Commentarialis, which is the first book to describe the heliocentric system, and later Narratio Prima, which was actually published under Rheticus's name. Soon after, however, Copernicus suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and paralysis, and he died in 1542.
De Revolutionibus, a book which Copernicus had been working on for years but was concerned about publishing, summed up his ideas, added new theories, and was even dedicated to Pope Paul III. It helped to explain his heliocentric planetary model more clearly, and it later influenced major scientists like Galileo.
Another baby that would grow up to be a very important scientist was born February 15th, 1564, in Pisa, Italy, by the name of Galileo Galilei. Not only would he agree with Copernicus's theories, but he would also come up with his own and make many new discoveries. At the age of 15, Galileo had still not begun making his life-changing discoveries, and here he is shown studying Greek, Latin, and logic at the Benedict monastery of Santa Maria di Vallombrosa. At this age, he wanted to become a monk, but his father didn't like the idea.
Galileo is now 18 and studying at the University of Pisa. Here he is studying medicine and mathematics. He studied medicine because that is what his father wanted him to pursue, but he studied mathematics because that was his passion.
Now Galileo is 31, and much has changed since he was 18. He left university without his degree to become a private math tutor. After working at the university and having some large and important math roles, he developed his first theory. In 1595, Galileo developed his first theory called the theory of tides, which is the use of mechanisms to interpret and predict the tides. After studying this, he realized that it related to the Copernican law, and he was very intrigued.
At the age of 33, Galileo made his first invention, the geometric and military compass. He hired someone to mass-produce his invention since it was an equivalent to the pocket calculator, which was very popular especially to the wealthier class.
It is now the year 1602, and Galileo is with Marina Gamba of Venice and has 2 kids, Virginia and Livia. Also in this year, Galileo conducts experiments with a pendulum. The year 1609 includes major changes for Galileo, and it made him who he is today. Galileo learns about the invention of the telescopic lens. Galileo works on his own telescope, and around early December was able to see the moon. The next year, in January, he makes his first discovery with the telescope when he sees 4 bright stars by Jupiter.
The year is now 1616. Galileo is writing the theory of tides, and he says that it proves that the Earth is not the center of the universe. This belief goes along with the Copernican theory and the Pope, who warned Galileo not to defend the theory. Galileo thought it was bad and that they were defending a belief that was wrong, and he said that they were showing a greater fondness for their own opinions than for truth. It is now the year 1622, and Galileo has been upset in his bed since 1616, since the Pope warned him not to defend the Copernican theory. When he talked with the Pope, he had got scared of ruining his life and gave up on his life's work. Since the Pope had talked to him, his life had not been easy. He lost his girlfriend and mother, and was then left to father his kids alone. There was only one thing that he knew for certain, and that was that he was never going back to astronomy. Galileo. Oh, the soon-to-be great Galileo, what are you doing here?
I'm sleeping. Are you a ghost?
Yes, but that's not the point. The point is that you're sitting in your room moping because one person tried to shut down your ideas.
It wasn't just one person, it was the Pope. I'm not going to risk my life for something that will never mean anything.
You may think that. You may want to quit now, but it is the wrong thing to do. If you listen to me, when you wake up in the morning, you will be back to your normal hardworking self. Soon Galileo was fast asleep and the ghost of Copernicus was gone.
When Galileo woke up, he felt different. He decided to get out of his bed and get to work. It was the year 1630, and Galileo was so productive that he finished his work, Dialogue Concerning Two Chiefs World Systems. This work included the theory that he was sat down and talked to by the church for defending, but he was a different man now, and he was not scared. This work was released 2 years later in 1632, and in the same year the Pope called Galileo to Rome. This was Galileo's second time in Rome talking to the Pope, and he was convicted of heresy and put under indefinite house arrest. Although he got shut down, he still accomplished what Copernicus wanted him to do, and he did not quit.
Though Galileo had a very important life, it eventually came to an end on January 8, 1642. What he discovered has affected and will affect the way we see the Earth and the planets around our Earth forever.